that's the person, and that wasn't even, they wasn't even recruiting, and he was one of these fair-skinned black guy, and he could almost play for white there. He's a fair-skinned guy there, and the blacks liked him because, and he was the kind of guy that really believed that he was an English teacher too, and he was I guess he was in England, and Jay Mason invited people to his house there. He the first black to, he and Dr. Tab were the first blacks to live in Ivory.
And they lived in the white community, or did they live in Norris community?
White community. They lived back over here in what we call where the new houses were built. Tanglewood. That's a new addition. Tanglewood there. And Dr. Tab and Dr. Brewer stayed in that area there. And they didn't. But back here where I'm living now, they didn't have a lot of blacks over in here. Black people all stayed in the Norris community. They all want to say Norris community. That's where they ever crossed the track. Mm-hmm. That's where they all stayed, across the track. And we got a couple of ladies that work with us that's coming over here now. They come help my wife out on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and they from the Norris community, and they grew up in the Norris community, and that just, and you listen to them, and you know they're good workers. They know about that kind of work, and washing and ironing, and I don't do much ironing there. So nobody iron there. Mm-hmm. Ain't nobody iron. That's about out. But as far as washing and folding up clothes and cleaning houses and all that kind of stuff, they really know how to do that kind of work there. And when you go to Mount Moriah, like a church you went to, Mount Moriah Church, all those people, that's the Norris community, and all those people in that area there, that's all they do. They work across town there, you know, and other people, they grew up with that kind of work there. And the thing we've been talking about, making the soap and living hard and no running water. So they grew up in that kind of thing there, with no running water. But they didn't have running water in the Norris community until after I came here. I don't want to get that started. And as far as paved streets, getting streets paved, and wells, I got all that stuff started. That they didn't have that electricity, all that kind of stuff we got. I got that stuff started in the Norris community.
Did you get support from the Mount Moriah Church when you applied for these grants and were working to make improvements in the Norris community?
No, didn't get no work from no support. But they didn't say nothing about that. In fact, I didn't believe me when I started talking about getting the grants, people gonna give us money. Well, they thought these were someone begging for money. And they didn't think in terms of grants. They thought they were begging. And even, you know, about when I got on city council, that's why I really started getting a grant when I got on city council. And even some of the councilmen, I had one or two of them to go with the Mayor Tom Young. And he told me, he said, "More ain't nowhere in the world I'd be around here begging these people for money there. And I'd write a grant there and everything. You have to go and support those grants, you know. You write a grant, and you have to, at that time, everybody you have to go in and support. And you got to write it, but you got to go in and support it. And of course, in going in, they ask you questions about it and everything. And later, you hear from them whether or not your grant was going to be granted. You're going to get your money for the grant. So that's something that's happened in the last 30 years, you know. And of course, and once they got started, everybody learned to write them grants. English teacher like you there, what you talking about? You be the best possible person. You're the one I'd want on my side there. A good writer, and that's another thing, because you have to be a good writer and good ideas. And of course, once you do that, then you turn your grant in, your paper in, literature in, your book in, whatever you set up to, and then they send for you to come in. You have to go in and defend that grant. Why is it you want this? Why is it you want this? What you gonna do this? What you gonna do with it? And you have to just go in and prove those things. And once they like your idea, then I'd say within the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks, you'd hear from the grant whether you was granted or not.
Who are you writing? Who is funding these grants?
State of Texas.
Okay.
State of Texas, they get grants from state of Texas, and on a national level. So I drew a lot of grants for it. I had to go to Washington, D.C. with them. They go up there, and they'd be on the national level there. And of course, up there, I'd go up there and defend those grants there. I'd go up there and write the grants, and of course, in doing that, you would go all over. The attitude has to be right. In other words, you got to. In fact, you just have to be a good writer and a good person. You got to know something about it, because they ask you because they read them things, you know.
Where were you, I have several follow-up questions. Finding out which funding sources are worth pursuing as grants for particular projects can be difficult, because there are a lot of grants out there. Mm-hmm. How did you know? I guess first of all, you're looking at the Norris community. You're saying, "Good God, there's no roads and there's no plumbing. This is a grant. I can write a grant for this." How did you know to do that, and how did you know where to go to get the money for that?
Well, just like I mentioned in the beginning, we learned that